You may be seated. Did you notice the last line of that psalm today? You will show me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy, and in your right hand are pleasures forevermore. Now, when you think about Christianity, how often does the word pleasure come to mind? I mean, much less pleasures forevermore. I mean, that sounds more like Muslim afterlife with the 70 virgins. And that's not how it goes in our section of heaven, is it? I mean, isn't Christianity all about denying ourselves pleasure and gritting our teeth and slogging through life and being miserable now so we don't have to go to hell later? You know what keeps Puritans up at night? The nagging suspicion that right now, somewhere, somehow, somebody's having fun. But here it was in the Bible. We read it on Sunday. In your right hand are pleasures forevermore. I mean, surely it doesn't mean, pleasure, like doing things we like or doing things that feel good or having fun or good food or laughing out loud or wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Know what I mean? Pleasure. That's exactly what it means. Being in God's family is supposed to be a good thing. And I don't mean just a you don't have to go to hell good thing. I mean a fun, fulfilling, exciting, adventurous, challenging, stretching, growing, ain't nothing like it on earth pleasure good thing. That's why it prefaces the pleasure part with, in your presence there is fullness of joy. God does not want us to miss the fact that he loves us and he wants our life with him to be flooded with fullness of joy and pleasures forevermore. And that's why he says it twice. He also does not want us to over-spiritualize what that means. I mean, yes, our ultimate reward is everlasting life with God and each other after we die. And yes, the biggest promises of God are spiritual and eternal. But what God has for us here and now is just as real as what he has for us then and there. And fullness of joy and pleasures forevermore start now if we let him. God holds them out to us now. And all we have to do is get close enough to Jesus to accept the gift. But there's a rub. It means daring to believe that what God offers us is not only good for us, but good. Now, most of us know that what God has for us is good for us, but it's like a sugar-free, low-fat, high-fiber diet. It's good for us, but who really likes eating pine cones and shredded cardboard? Why can't health taste like hot now Krispy Kreme donuts? And even though we admit that what God offers us is good for us, we don't always choose it because we'd rather stick with what we think is good instead of what is good for us. But what God offers us is both. When I committed my life to Jesus at age 14, I knew it was good for me, but I also thought, I just ruined my life. I will never have any fun ever again. I really thought that I had traded pleasure for eating paste. So when I got out of high school, I gave up God and church, and I chased all of those pleasures that I thought I was missing, and I was wrong. And 3 years later, I came back to God and I said, okay, I'm ready to try it your way now because I'm tired of feeling guilty. I'm tired of looking over my shoulder hoping that I don't get caught. Tired of chasing things that smell like Krispy Kreme donuts but end up tasting like cardboard. And when I finally decided to do it God's way instead of my own and got close enough to God to accept the offer, I discovered, much to my surprise, that what God has for us is not only good for us, it's good. It's good. And that's why 51 years later, I'm still with Jesus and not going back because the Bible is right. In his presence, there is fullness of joy, and in his right hand are pleasures forevermore. But to find that joy and to experience those pleasures, we have to come into his presence close enough, long enough to touch and take his right hand. And Psalm 16 today tells us how to do that. Verse 5 says, O Lord, you are my portion and my cup. It is you who uphold my lot. We have to decide that God is enough. God is enough. I don't have to have, I don't have to be what the world tells me that I need in order to be happy or a success. God is enough. And if I have God, and I do, I can choose to be content. And when anything tries to distract me from him or turn me away from him, I remind myself, Jesus, you are what I want. You are who I want. You are all I want. And you are enough. You, O Lord, are my portion and my cup. Verse 6 says, my boundaries enclose a pleasant land. Indeed, I have a goodly heritage. God gives us everything we need. Not always everything we want, but he gives us all we need. So I get to choose to be content with who I am and what I have. Now, that doesn't mean I'm always satisfied, nor does it keep me from praying and working to better myself, improve myself and my lot in life. But I've learned to be content. I don't need a vacation home, a boat, a faster car, a bigger house, a better job, a younger spouse, or more stuff to be happy. Now, if you have any of those, God bless you, and I hope you enjoy them. But we don't need them. And if I never become more than who I am or get more than what I have, that's enough. I have a goodly heritage. Realizing that removes the pressure from and adds the pleasure to life. Verse 7, I will bless the Lord who gives me counsel. My heart teaches me night after night. God invented us. He knows how we work best and what it takes to keep us healthy. And that's why he gave us the Bible and all of the insights in it. And it's a mistake to think the Bible is here to keep us from having fun. No, it gives us guidelines as guardrails to keep us safe. Where I'm from in Tennessee is all tall limestone hills, and when it snows, it's tough on driving, but it's great for sledding. And one of the best sledding hills is called Barry's Chapel Road. And on one side is a gentle slope that goes up for a couple of miles. And on the other side, it goes down about half a mile at a 35-degree angle. And it gets better. The road is carved out of the limestone hill. So on the right side, there's an 80-foot drop that goes down to a cow pasture. And on the left side is all jagged rocks. And at the bottom, then there's an S curve that goes about there. There's about 100 yards straightaway so you can get up some speed. And then at the bottom, there's a 90-degree turn to the left. And to make it even more interesting, there's a barbed wire fence down at the bottom right there by that curve to keep the cows in and the sledders out. And it's on the north side of the hill, shaded by trees, so it never gets any sun to melt the snow. And it's called Barry's Chapel Road because that's where they bury the people who die there sledding. Well, one snowy night when I was 15 and bulletproof, some friends invited me to go sledding there, and it seemed like a good idea at the time as they parked the car and we walked up the gentle slope. And then I got to the top and I peered down the hill, and what disappears into the darkness is the S curves and the 90-degree curve and the barbed wire fence, but I know that they are all there. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure about this, but all my friends who have been there before jump on their sleds and take off. So I'm not going to be left behind. So I jump on my sled and take off. And in a rare flash of 15-year-old wisdom, I decide to stay on the left side of the road and avoid that cliff over on the 90, on the side that, the agony of defeat down there at the bottom. And that got me through the straightaway and into the first half of the S curve to the right. But as I'm making my way around the S curve to the left, I'm hugging the inside of the curve just a little too closely, and I find the one place of bare pavement, which then slams me into the rocks. I remembered the cliff on the right. I forgot about the rocks on the left, but this is why my nose could do this. So there I am, on my back, in the ditch, snow on my face, snow down my shirt, snow up my sleeves. I'm wet, I'm freezing, and I'm glad to be feeling that way because it means I'm not dead. My glasses are gone, my sled is totaled, I'm still only halfway down the hill, which means I have to walk halfway back up the hill and to walk all the way down the hill to get back to the car. And until that night, I cursed every guardrail that limited my freedom to go wherever I wanted to go and do whatever I wanted to do. But since that night, I understand guardrails are there for my protection. And even though they are unpleasant to bump into, it's better than slamming into the rocks or launching over the abyss. The Lord gives us counsel in the Bible as guidelines and guardrails, not to limit our freedom, but to protect us and to add to our pleasure. Verse 8, I have set the Lord always before me. Because he is at my right hand, I shall not fall. As we follow the guidelines and stay inside the guardrails in the Bible, God holds our hands and keeps us away from the rocks and the cliffs. Verse 9, my heart therefore is glad and my spirit rejoices. My body also shall rest in hope. Our culture suffers from an epidemic of stress-induced ailments, colitis, stomach ulcers, headaches, heart attacks, road rage, depression, anxiety, anorexia, obesity, insomnia, and a legion of others. God offers peace that passes understanding, so our hearts can be glad, our spirits rejoice, and our bodies can rest in peace and rest in hope. And that starts with being free from guilt because I've chosen to go God's way instead of my own. It grows as we determine to be content with who God made us and what God gives us. It continues as we hang out here and experience how much God loves us through how much this parish family loves us. It blossoms as we let God forgive us and as we learn to forgive ourselves. And it matures when we start forgiving others the same way that God forgives us. And as we stick close to God and grow in faith, hope, and love, our hearts are glad, our spirits rejoice, and our bodies rest in hope, which take us to verse 10. For you will not abandon me to the grave, nor let your Holy One see the pit. Now, the biggest promise and the ultimate offer God has is we get to cheat death. We get to cheat the grave and cheat hell and live with Jesus and each other in a party that lasts forever with pleasures forevermore. But that offer doesn't wait until after death to kick in. That's why the psalm ends with a promise for then that starts now. You will show me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy, and in your right hand are pleasures forevermore. If our concept of Christianity does not include fullness of joy and pleasures forevermore, we need to upgrade our idea because that's what God offers. If we come into his presence and stay close enough, long enough to touch and hold his hand. And if you've never gotten that close to God, or if you know you're not that close to God now, his right hand is out, his arms are open wide, and he invites you into his embrace. As we say the Nicene Creed in just a few minutes, tell Jesus what you believe. In the prayers of the people, tell Jesus what you want and need. And as we pass the peace, let Jesus hug you through all of these people here. And as you come to the table, let's hold out our hands and say, yes, Jesus, I want to be with you. You died for me. I'll live for you. Show me the path of life, because in your presence there is fullness of joy, and in your right hand are pleasures forevermore.